We are recording. Welcome to Recon. It's Tuesday the 14th, and we've got a situation for you. Actually, I call it the riddle. It's going to be in the chat, and I'm going to read it for you really fast in case you're driving. You can't see the chat. You're working with a buyer, and this is a buyer that's just driving you nuts. The buyer you've shown over 40 homes to. 40! That's crazy, right? And this is what your buyer says. Hey, I've boiled my choice down to 3 homes. I've got my 3 favorite. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I will offer on that one. This is a real scenario, guys. I didn't make it up. This is not Chat GPT. This happened to somebody I know in the last 10 days. And the riddle is there's at least 3 coaching moments in this. So, Kelly, who's up with this one?
Well, we have Ellie going with Don.
Hey, Ellie, I boiled my choice down to 3 homes. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I will offer on that one.
Wonderful. Yes. Yes. My job is to do some, of course, some investigation, see which one. But tell me more, Don, about these 3. What makes it that, what's your criteria that you choose these 3? What from these 3 properties makes it one of your choice, the ideal home for you?
Well, they all fit the criteria. So now I just want to find the best deal. So, call the
Okay. Can you
agents,
describe?
do your job, and let me
Mhm.
know.
Absolutely. That's absolutely, Don. Tell me what's the best deal means for you in about these 3 homes.
Well, I want to see what the best price, the best terms, who can close it, give me the best deal. Find
Best
that out.
price. Okay. Best deal, best price. Can you tell me more about this?
It's called dead air.
No, not
What
really. I mean,
happened? Ellie,
find me the best deal.
did you lose your mic,
All
Ellie?
right. So if I would bring you this home like for 1.2 million, you consider this a best deal?
I don't know. I want to see what the other 2 will do too. That's your job. Find out, get back to me. Thanks.
Okay. So from what they told us in the listing price and what we see here, because the first one has a couple of offers on the table, so probably that one is not the one that you can negotiate that low.
Time,
And
How,
the second,
how do
time,
you know
time.
that? How do you know that?
Yeah, hang on.
because I did my due diligence.
How could you have
Well,
done that already?
he hasn't even
Oh,
given you the 3 yet. Matt.
So the funny thing about this is that Ellie, right from the beginning, you're trying to figure out criteria. But how did he arrive at these 3? Like, what is it about these 3? And which is good. We do want to know that. Why these 3? Right? Did you throw a dart at the wall? Did you sleep on it, pick numbers, draw names out of a hat? How did we get to these 3? But then when you're asking him about like what does the right deal look like to you, you you were kind of you got on the merry-go-round. What is the best
yeah.
deal? What is the best deal? What is the best deal? And I don't know if Denny meant that when he said dead airspace or if Denny lost connection because he's at a hotel. But that's what I was looking at, like dead air. Like we're not making any progress. We're just going
Right.
around in a circle. Now,
Correct.
I'm this is the only hint I'm going to give, and we'll move on to the next one unless Denny wants to add something. Guys, how will they know when they've got there? You've got 3 different homes, I'm assuming, at 3 relatively different or similar price points with 3 different sellers and 3 different locations. How the hell do you define the best deal? How will you know when you got there? Denny?
Yeah, really fast, Ellie. I want to give you a knuckle bump. She has been on this program and she has changed one of her words. She says that ideal home. She didn't say perfect, so knuckle bump there. The next thing I want you guys to listen and what Kelly or Don said as the buyer, he said, "Do your job." Whoa. Somebody's got a weird idea of what our responsibility is if we're supposed to go figure out who's got the best deal out there. All right, next.
Next, we have Robert with me. So, Robert, I've boiled my choice down to 3 homes. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I will offer on that one.
All right, Kelly. So tell me, when will we know we've got the best deal?
Whenever you show me the research.
Okay. And research. So, I mean, I need you to define that. I mean, because I mean, I can do research, I can find out all sorts of things. What exactly is it that you're looking to get answers to?
Well, don't you run numbers and all that stuff? I mean, you'll be able to tell me what the best deal is.
Well, I mean, but my definition of what a good deal is and your definition of a good deal may be completely different. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, I guess I just want I want the house. I want one of these three houses with the best price.
Okay. And I can fully understand best price. Okay. Is there any other criteria that's going to be important?
Not really. Just give me the best deal.
Okay. Okay. So if I can do the research and figure out which one of these I think we're going to be able to get the best price on, that's the one that you're going to want to move forward with.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very good. And what can you give me an idea of what would be the perfect price for you? We're looking at homes that are all priced in the 1.1 to 1.2 million.
Time, Matt.
I'm actually not I'm not upset at what you did, Robert. I would have used different words, but brother, you're really like you're diving down the right well shaft now. You're going in the right direction in most of your conversations. I am, because of my personality type, I would have got a little more abrasive with Kelly. Kelly, best deal. What are you? What does that mean? What are we talking about? And when you said research, what research? We talking numbers research? Are we talking the color of the wall research? I don't understand these. I can't deal with ambiguities. Now, the feedback that I have for you, Robert, when he started talking about the bet, when he started referencing pricing, get me the best price. Kelly, if I understand correctly, you're determining and interpreting you're defining the best deal to be linked to price. Am I understanding that correctly? Are there any other metrics you're using to qualify the best deal? Okay. And so I would have just used those words intentionally. That way they don't pull a rabbit out of the hat afterwards and say, yeah, but I don't like this about that. Well, hold on. You told me this. Make sense, Robert?
Yeah.
So you did good. Denny?
Yeah, the thing I want to go on, I want to comment on something that Ellie put in the chat. If you Ellie mentioned something about a CMA. If your reflex was to do that, the agent that I know mentioned that to me, I want you to stick your head in a bucket.
Yep.
There is no CMA that's going to give you the answer that he is looking for. In fact, I don't even know what's the best price, and how would you know? If you call the other agent, I'm kind of curious what your conversation would be.
Yeah, what's your best price?
Yeah, and by the way, if you've been in real or more, you probably already know no matter what they say, that is not necessarily the best price.
Right.
This buyer has been unreasonable and has given you an unreasonable request. I'm curious how you're going to handle that, because what he's asking you to do is not even possible. Next.
Next, we have Jose with Don.
Jose, hey, I boiled my choice down to three homes. Do your research. Tell me which seller is going to give me the best deal, and I'll make the offer on that one.
Gotcha. Don, outside of the best deal, anything else keeping you forward from submitting an offer to purchase this?
No, we're ready to go.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that these three stand out from the 37 others that we looked at. Tell me, what does a good deal look like to you?
Well, who's going to give me at least 10% off the list price? Who's the most desperate seller? Talk to the agents. Find out who we can take advantage of, and get back to me.
Gotcha. I'll definitely do that. As of this morning, this is the best deal for the sellers. Would you be disappointed if they say this is the best deal on these three?
No.
Okay. So when I call them and they said that this is the best deal, how would you like to proceed?
Well, whichever one will give me the most percentage off the list price, then we'll jump on that. So find out which one will do that, and we'll go.
And you tell me you wouldn't be disappointed if they say this is it?
Nah, we'll keep looking.
Okay. Well, let's look at that back. Let's look at that and say, hey, outside of the deal, these houses are not the right fit for me. Let's continue looking. How does that sound?
Time.
I'm not.
I lost you on that question, Jose.
Yeah,
What were
me
you
too.
asking?
I didn't know.
We're on the wrong houses.
Right. So here's how I would have handled that. I would kind of go back to the beginning, forget the research, forget the best deal. Why these three? Why now? Why these three? Why now? Right. So, Don, we've looked at a lot of properties. What made you call me today and say you've isolated these three and you're preparing to make an offer now? What has changed between last night looking at 40 and now wanting to make an offer on these three? Jose, is that kind of
Yes.
kind of what you were hoping to figure out there?
Yes.
It's like, why these three? Why now? And that's funny. When you went into the role play, that was another scenario I was going over in my head. Why are we doing this now? We've looked at 40. What's prevented us from taking action on anything before now? What this tells me, guys, and here's what I've explained to clients, and Denny, I'll be quick with this. I explain to clients in my buyer consults, if we look at more than 6 to 10 properties, that means that I have failed on a fundamental level. And I don't understand what your wants and needs are or what we're looking for. I have failed. So that's the path I would go down there. Denny, muted. He might be on the phone. If he is on the phone, we can roll to the next one. Does that kind of make sense, though, Jose, what I'm talking about and everybody on here? It's
Yes.
like you guys, if you've shown 40 properties, you have failed on a fundamental level. Let's take extreme ownership. What have we missed? All right. I think Denny's off. Denny, you there now? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Tiffany with Kelly.
All right, Tiffany. Man, I've boiled my choice to 3 homes now. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I'll offer on that one.
Well, Kelly, let me ask you, we've gone through a multitude of homes. Why these 3 all of a sudden?
That's a great question, Tiffany. I just think these 3 are it. I just want to find, based on what we've done, I'm ready to make that decision.
Wow, it's great to have 3 choices. But again, what about these 3 stuck out that made you say, I'm going to wake up this morning and call Tiff and make an offer on these 3?
Well, I can see myself living in either one of these homes.
Okay. And when you said he was going to give you the best offer or deal, I think is what I heard you say. What does that really look like for you?
Well, we like one that we could get the best price on, obviously. And, if the terms go along with that, work that in as well.
Well, I just heard you say terms. So outside of the price, what are the terms that you would actually want to see?
We're open to a 30 to 45 day closing, blah, 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 15-day inspection period.
Mm-hmm. So if we go and I do my job, my research, whatever it is, and these people come back and they say, hey, this is the best deal, what's our next step?
If they say this is the best deal, explain that to me a little bit.
The number that they're at. If we were purely talking about numbers and the terms that you said right here. If they said that the price that they have listed it at today is the best price, and these are the terms that you explained to me, the 45-day close, XXX, are
Anybody have
you
a timer running?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we're at time.
I'm going to call
Gotta
time.
be. I'll pick it up.
Good job, Tiffany.
I think we might have lost Denny.
Yeah.
So here's one of my favorite quotes. If anybody knows me on a personal level, they understand I'm a practicing Stoic. So one of my favorite quotes is by Seneca the Younger. And it is, if a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So, and why I'm bringing that up now, I don't know if you missed a pivotal moment in the conversation, Tiff, with Kelly. I don't think you missed it. I think you were going down a good path. But he said, I could see myself in any of these three properties. What is it about those three properties that make it to where you can see yourself in them? We've seen 40. You pick three. You're telling me you can see yourself in any of these three. What is it about them? I'm going to see if this person is sensical or not. Because if they're not sensical, what I mean by that is if he can't tell me what it is about them they like, the rest of the conversation might be completely irrelevant. Because they, just like I just said about if a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. If he can't tell you definitively, this is why I want these three, I like these three, terms and conditions, this is what I'd be looking for. If he gives you a bunch of I don't knows, go back to the quote I've used before of, if they don't answer the questions, they're not real. This might not be somebody you can help, and it might be a great opportunity to end the relationship. I'm not saying that's where you go instinctively, like right from the beginning, but this conversation will determine that. Denny, are you still here? We lost Denny. All right.
I got the clock.
Does that make sense, Tiff? It's if they can't tell you, we talk about if I can get the best price. Okay, great. If you get the best price, awesome. Best terms, right? Quit using these ambiguous words. Tell me what they mean. If they can't tell you what they mean, the conversation ends. Because nobody can do sufficient enough research to then go to the client and say, all right, we've arrived at the best deal based on the ambiguities you've given me. Which one do you want to buy? All right, let's rock and roll. Daniel with
Daniel's
Don.
up.
We got Daniel and Don. Daniel and Don.
Double D.
All right. Daniel, I boiled my choice down to three homes. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I'll offer on that one.
Yes, sir. Other than the best deal, is there anything else holding you back from, or is there anything else outweighing in the decision?
Nah, just give me the best deal, best price, and we're ready to rock.
Okay. Not that I don't love showing you around, but out of these 40, why these three?
Well, you're not old enough to remember the dating game. Some of us are. And let me put it in context. I'm the bachelor. I've
Okay.
had 40 women that I start with. I'm down to three. They're all beautiful. Find the one that's ready to hook me up and let's go.
Okay, but one's a blonde, one's a brunette, one's a redhead. Any
You got it,
preference?
baby.
Okay, just something you can live in.
That's right.
Okay. So what does a good deal look like to you, Don?
Somebody maybe there's a desperate seller out there.
Okay.
And is willing to go at least 10% off the list price.
Okay. Well, out of these three, they're about 25K apart each.
Yep.
Do you just want to start with the lowest home since price is most important?
Maybe. I mean, look, all these homes have been for sale. None of them have sold. So they're primed let's take a hit. Let's go after them.
Okay. So you're saying if one of the properties are willing to give you 10% off the listing price, we're ready to submit an offer.
At least, unless the other one wants to go 15.
Okay. And what about if none of them come back with a 10% offer?
Well, just find the best deal and then I'll make my choice of these three.
All right. Well, how about this, Don? How about we just write up an offer with 10% off?
Nope. Time. Not good enough. I won't know that.
I was just about to get you.
Find out who will do it, and then we'll do it.
Yeah. The funny thing about the end of your role play is I at that point, I would have put the nails to Don. Don, up until this point, what I've heard you say is if you get 10% off, you'll do it. I asked you what happened if they say no. Now you're telling me that you'll make your decision based off of what they say. So what is it? Is it really the 10% off? What is the leading indicator for us? What is the KPA, right? The key performance KPI. What's the key performance indicator we're using here? If they all tell us to pound sand at 10, don't give us 10% off, are you buying? I would ask my client that. Because if he says no, we're just going to keep looking. Don, what's most important to you? Getting a home that meets your wants and needs, regardless of whether it's blonde, redhead, or brunette, or is it saving money off the list price? Because in a market like this, and right now you can get money off list price, but let's say you're in a seller's market. Because in a market like this, just getting a home looks like a good deal to some people. Right? This is where we're exiting the relationship, Dan. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would you lean into let's make an offer? Because what they tell me and what they say to an offer is two different things.
Yeah, I'm gonna do what I've done up till this point, I'm gonna defer back to what we've talked about up till this point, which is why these three, why now? What's prevented us from making a buying decision up till now? I feel like I have failed you on a fundamental level. What am I missing? All right, you want me to do research? I'm happy to do research. But I'm a trail dog. I need to know what trail I'm running down. So what are the metrics I'm looking for here? How will we know when we've arrived at that? Okay, and then I might, like you're talking about, Daniel, at the end of it, well, Don, crazy idea. If you'd be happy in any of these, what's the research going to tell us that making an offer won't? Just put the offer out there. Because by the time I do 3 hours of research on each of these properties, they might already be sold. Or they may already have offers on these things. So the best way to do the research, make an offer. Yep.
There's your line. Write that one down.
Yep. Carlos, Kelly.
Hey, Matt, I'm back really fast.
Yep.
So, sorry about the connection. I want to put a plug out there. I'm looking for an agent that can help a seller in Toms River, New Jersey. And I know we have some New Jersey folks, but I need help there, number one. Number two, I've been trying to get this comment in. Have you guys talked in terms of, Matt, because I was off for a few minutes, if one seller gives 10% off, the next seller gives 5% off list price, the next seller gives off 1% off list price, which is the best offer? Which is the best deal? Have you talked about that?
In the same vein, yes. It's, if you're wanting 10% off, is 10% essentially the only metric? Like how will you know when you've gotten there?
Well, even so, if you take a house that's overpriced, you could have 50% off, but it still may not be a good deal. And then a house that is, it goes, they give 0% off might be the best deal. So
right.
Here are the three things that I wanted to make sure people talk about. Number one, Matt's already talked about it. If you're showing 40 homes, put your head in a bucket. If you're going to a CMA trying to answer his question, put your head in a bucket. And the third thing in this whole conversation is find out what the best is, because that's what I want to offer on. Are you kidding me? Then why are we going through this exercise if you're going to make an offer anyway? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep. Yeah. And that's what we just mentioned at the end there with Daniel. It's like, the best research to do is to make an offer. Make an offer and we'll figure out what the best deal is.
So my input really fast, I'll go on to the next one, Daniel, is I don't even like the O word, okay? Do you want to own a home or not?
Right. Yep. Are we making offers or are we buying?
If we buy homes, we don't make offers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Denny, did you say Toms River?
Toms River, New Jersey, yes.
Toms River. All right, it's in the chat, guys. Toms River, New Jersey. All right, we got Carlos with Kelly, and we've got time for two more if we boogie, because I want to get to Debbie because she hasn't been on in a while.
Let's do
All
it,
right, Carlos. I've boiled my choice to 3 homes. Do your research and tell me which seller will give me the best deal, and I'll make an offer on that one.
I appreciate that, Kelly. Undoubtedly, I will do my research. Not a problem. Let me ask you this. Remind me again, what is the reason you're buying this home in the first place?
We're ready to move.
And what does that mean to you when you say move? Like, what does it mean?
Well, you've been on the 40 houses. We're ready to get into a new school district.
Gotcha.
We're just looking for the deal now.
Okay. And when you say deal, Callie, what does that really mean to you, deal?
We're in love with all three houses. We just want to get the best price.
Interesting. You're in love with all three of them. Does that mean equivocally in love, or do you have one out of the three that pops out to you?
Well, we like all of the houses, but there's one we'd prefer, but we'll take any one.
Okay. What makes you say that you prefer that one?
Well, it has the nice fire pit next to the pool. We kind of like that, but that's not a deal breaker for us.
What is a deal breaker for you then, Callie?
Paying too much for the house.
What is too much for you?
That's a great question. So too much would be, ask price. If we can get it cheaper than that, we're good.
Time. Really good.
Is the only indicator to you making a decision whether you can get money off the list price or not? That would have just been my next question, Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
Is the only indicator as to which home you choose if you're able to get money off the list price. And then, guys, to Denny's point before, Kelly, how would you feel if one of these three homes was positioned $30,000 to $40,000 below market value, and the only way to secure it was to pay list price? Would that not be considered a good deal? What if it were 50? So take it to the extremes, like Denny talks about. What if it were 60? What if one of these properties was $100,000 below what it should be positioned at, and the only way for us to get it was to pay list price?
Well, theoretically, Matt, if it were free, it wouldn't qualify as a good deal.
Right. Exactly. Because you didn't pay anything for it, right?
There's nothing off asking price.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Denny, if you got feedback, but that's all I had.
Yeah. Here's my thing, Carlos. So in a personality like this,
yes, sir.
All right. I don't like the O word, offer, and don't use the L word, love. They don't love a home. This is transactional.
Yep. Especially for somebody like this.
Yeah, say which are the ones you like to love the most. They don't even use that word on a Valentine's card. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, Matt, thanks for covering. Great conversation, you guys. This is what we want to do on Recon Mastery. Anyone can do the conversation. What we want to do is give you some tips that help you look at the conversation within the conversation. So we almost at 100. So we'll see you tomorrow. Love you, mean it.